emotion pulling far to the primal scream. I'm gonna pay for this. Meanwhile, it's a smile in a sinner's dream. There's a plan of innocence set for return, but all of that's an ocean away. In a den of iniquity, you might as well burn. I promise not to beg you to stay. Heaven won't mind if I steal you for a moment. Love's God-given, so don't be afraid. I ain't gonna lie.
And Joe the shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. Good to have you listening in. Good to be back here. I've been wanting to do a show since Monday, to be perfectly honest with you. And Monday, me and the lady, we were just having a good time. We were hanging out by the pool. We were eating some food. We made some pork chops. It was kick-ass. Okay, she made the pork chops. Okay, I just stood by and handed her shit. But she did a fantastic job. And, we had a good time. Hope your Labor Day was good. And I do have a major announcement for you guys here. I'm wearing white today, and it's after Labor Day. I'm just letting you know. I know some of you are just going to stop listening right now and just write a protest letters. But I'm just I'm wearing white after Labor Day, so don't go crazy. Love my girlfriend, I truly do. I don't know if I related the story to you guys before, but not too long ago, about 6 weeks or so ago, my lady and I, we were getting it on. We were having sex, and we were getting a little on the spicier side. And one of the things that my girlfriend likes to do when we're having sex is she likes to speak to me in Spanish. Now you gotta understand, she's Ukrainian. So her first language is Russian. She grew up with some Yiddish. And then she learned English, and she's been with me now and for the last 10 years, and now she's picked up some Spanish. So she likes to, when we're having sex, she'll speak in Spanish. So we're having sex, right? And I can tell she's getting close because this is what I hear. Okay, así, 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 a la derecha, a la derecha, a la izquierda, más duro, más duro, más rápido, goal! And that's when I said, okay, you know what? No more fucking World Cup for you, all right? That's enough soccer, all right? It's enough of that bullshit. Anyway, now one of what occurred to me recently is I've been thinking, I talk about a lot other countries all the time. I talk about countries, religions, cultures, people in general. And one of the things that I don't talk about too often is, in fact, my own country, the United States of America. And one of the reasons I don't talk about it is because, I'm not a super patriot. I'm not anti-America, but I'm not a nationalist. I'm not one of these people that just think, America's the greatest country in the world. No. You know what? I think Australia's pretty nice. Heard good things about Canada. And let's see, and I've also heard France can be pretty nice at times. Japan, very very nice. So I don't go around, I'm not one of these people that go around saying that the United States is the greatest country in the world. I'm not one of those people. I like to be very critical of my country, and that doesn't make me un-American. That doesn't make me a traitor. Okay, that makes me a real American, because a real American, based on what this country is founded on, questions the things that we do. We question how we do things. We question why things happen. The United States is the type of country that is supposed to be where you can demand answers from the people that are in charge. You get to demand questions from your government, and I don't think enough people do that. I'm not the most political person in the world. I'm not the type of person that, goes on causes, hell, I won't even pour a, bucket of ice water over my head. I'm not doing it. But I do believe that, that the people that really are into politics, they are into questioning the government, that they really should do it. And that's what brought me to today's topic. Today's topic, the title of today's show is The Tesla Tactic. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what a Tesla is a fully electric vehicle made by the company Tesla. They started building their cars roughly 10 years ago or so. And what makes their electric cars special is that they were the first company to come up with a pure ion lithium battery for their cars. It makes them more powerful, it makes them lighter, and it gives them a longer range. A Tesla can boast over 200 miles on just one charge, which is pretty fucking impressive. All right? And what makes it more impressive is that the industry at the time that Tesla came out with their ion lithium battery, they said that we wouldn't have a true, pure ion lithium battery for at least another decade. And then Tesla came up with one a decade before that. So, it's a big deal. And now every other car company on the planet is playing catch up to Tesla. Like the Chevy Volt and, the Toyota Hybrid. Everybody is trying to catch up to what they're doing. Everybody's trying to copy what they're doing, basically. And now, mind you, their cars are not cheap. I think base price for their cheap car is like $71,000, and then the other cars after that over $100,000. So it's not like your average Joe Schmo is going out and buying a Tesla. I've seen them here in Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, just yesterday I saw two of them, and they're a decently rare car still. But they're getting less and less rare, especially when you live along the coast, like the West Coast, the East Coast. You're going to see a lot more variety in vehicles and people. So not too many Teslas in the Midwest, most likely. That's what I'm saying. But Tesla has been having some trouble, which is pretty sad to me, I think, because the United States prides itself on its free market enterprise, and also on its control or even prohibition of monopolies. Which, by the way, the two concepts do seem at odds with each other. You can't. So you have a free market. Well, I can do whatever I want, but we're controlling monopolies, which means that one entity can't control everything. Which, like I said, goes against the concept of the free market. Okay, so here's what's going on. Tesla is it's an American company, started right here, and they're building cars, and they're building great cars, and they're building high-end cars that a lot of people are in demand. They have like a 3 to 5 month waiting list. So if you want a Tesla sometime in February, you might want to order one now. But good luck on that, because Tesla doesn't use dealerships. Tesla decided to build its cars and sell its cars directly to the public. They decided that they didn't want to deal with dealerships. They didn't want to deal with the whole haggling thing and the whole selling to a dealership and having to give them any type of discounts. And then they didn't want to deal with all the bullshit that comes with dealing with a dealership. So they decided they would have showrooms, and people would come in, check out the cars, and sell them directly to those people. Problem. Okay, here comes the problem now. Most recently, Tesla Motors may have to stop selling cars in the state of Georgia. An auto dealers association has asked the Peach State officials to bar the Palo Alto-based company from offering its Model S sports sedans and upcoming Model X SUV from its Atlanta retail store. The Georgia Automobile Dealers Association, in its petition to the Georgia Department of Revenue, alleges that Tesla has sold 5,200 Model S sedans in the United States this year. 173 of them in Georgia. Now, why is that important? Well, because Tesla was not working through a dealership, they were restricted, I believe unfairly, to only being able to sell 150 cars in the state of Georgia. So, but the demand was so high that they ended up selling 23 more, and now the Automobiles Dealer Association is pissed off because they don't like the competition. They decided that if we can't sell Teslas and people want Teslas, then nobody's going to sell Teslas. And that's essentially what they're doing. They voted. They went in and decided to try to block the sales. The provision, which the association said is in petition limits Tesla sales to 150 vehicles in the state per year, was designed with custom performance cars builders in mind, not major car manufacturers. The organization, which represents about 500 dealers in Georgia, has asked the state to punish the company by, quote, revoking Tesla's existing dealer license, end quote, and denying any attempt by Tesla to renew or reapply for dealer or manufacturer license. Now, this is something that's happening all across the country. Right now, there's roughly a block of about 26 states that are either outright banning the sale of Teslas or putting on severe restrictions on the sale of Teslas. Texas has one of the most stringent rules around in that, okay, let's say you live in Texas. You want a Tesla. You want a Texas Tesla. And but you can't buy one in Texas. Okay? You have to buy one in a different state. But you can buy one, but they can't deliver it to you. You have to go and get it. And then when you go and get it from whatever state it is you're going to, you buy it, you pay the taxes there, and then when you bring it into Texas, you pay a 6.5% tax on that. So basically, what they're trying to make it as difficult as possible for you, as expensive as possible for the public to buy the Tesla. They're saying, you know what, you want to buy a Tesla? Great, but we're going to make it not worth your while. You know, you want to save money on gas? All those gas savings are going to be fucked in taxes and the amount of time and effort it takes to get your fucking car to your home state. The governor of New Jersey, so in the pockets of auto dealer associations, initiated a special executive order banning the sales of Teslas as of what was it, a month or two ago? A complete, total ban of sales. You can't sell a Tesla in New Jersey. Period. Okay, you'd have to buy your Tesla somewhere else and then bring it with you to New Jersey. But you cannot buy or sell a Tesla in New Jersey. And rather than go through its legislative body, rather than initiating a law, rather than getting a referendum, and getting the people's opinion on what's going on, the governor enacted an executive order and just said, you know what? I suck the Automobile Association's dicks so hard, I'm just going to make up rules as I go along. And I've got to tell you, I'm finding this a little offensive, because we have the two things I was talking about earlier going at each other. We're talking about a free market enterprise where, Tesla says, you know what, we're going to make our own vehicles, we're going to sell our own vehicles. Okay, great. It's the American dream. And then the other American dream is, we can't allow monopolies to exist. Now, Tesla's not a monopoly. They build ion lithium battery cars, and they sell ion lithium batteries and battery parts and car parts to other car manufacturers. They're not just keeping everything themselves. But these automobile associations, they're telling us, the American public, that if you don't buy through a dealer, well, then you just can't have it because we're in control and we give enough money to politicians that they suck our dicks. And we're going to go on with more of that when we come back from this break. The music today is brought to you by Alexa Wilkinson. Her first song you just heard was Heaven Won't Mind. And this is her next song, Just Gone. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. And I'll be right back.
When you're trying to tell me about the world and everything, I can see how you think that I am listening. When you're trying to tell me to run, I never say yes or no, but the world sure closes in on me. On me, oh yeah. Can't you find another attraction to hide behind? I'm not just show and tell anymore. When will this show end? I am so alone. I need to find me on the inside.
Show the Shirt is off the cuff. All right, we've been talking about Tesla Motors. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I really appreciate it when you guys are here. Now, to give you an understanding of what kind of limitations these auto dealer associations are putting on Tesla, well, in some states, Tesla maintains showrooms. They have service centers where it displays automobiles, offers test drives, and performs service and repairs, okay? But in some other states, the company operates galleries where it offers only information about the vehicle, but is not allowed to offer test drives or even discuss the pricing of the cars. I don't know about you, but this sounds very unfair. I mean, these automobiles, these dealer associations are literally stifling innovation. They are stifling a burgeoning business model within the automobile industry. And it's always been my thought that, one of the great things about our country, the United States, is that we are allowed to innovate. We're allowed to do things a different way, a better way. And you know what? When a new way of doing things comes along, when a new type of technology comes along, do you know what happens? The old ways and old technologies tend to die off. And for the most part, we're as consumers, we're good with that, Hey, you know what? When my family got its first VHS back in the 80s, great, loved VHS, couldn't get enough of it. But you know what? When DVD came out, we were like, holy fuck, throw that old piece of shit out the door, And when Blu-ray came along, me and my girlfriend, we were like, yes, I can finally see Avatar. I can see the nipples on the blue chick, And so, and when the next innovation comes along, we're going to be happy to see that too. But that means that the old stuff does have to die off. Just like with TVs, with cars, with computers, old stuff is going to die off. It can't be avoided. Okay, another thing we like to talk about America. In America, we like to believe that we all work hard and we get a fair wage and we all get to enjoy the American dream. Now, full-time in the United States for a very traditional way of thinking was considered working 40 hours a week. That's considered full-time. These days, it's closer to 35 to 37 hours a week is considered full-time. At the very least to get, your benefits and such, your medical, your dental, your life insurance, that kind of stuff, your pensions. But the 40-hour work week in the United States, for the most part, doesn't exist. Did you guys know that? It really doesn't. According to a recent study here, a new poll results confirm that the 9 to 5 in the typical 40-hour work week has become as dated as afternoon cocktails on Mad Men episodes. Apparently, just a mere 42% of full-time employees work 40 hours a week. According to Gallup Incorporated, they said that about 11% of workers work 41 to 49 hours a week, and 39% said they work at least 50 hours a week. The rest of the world of the United States works less than 40 hours a week. They're all part-timers. But the average is 47 hours a week, and that's been steady now at 47 hours a week for the last 14 fucking years. Okay? Now, it's as usual, salaried employees are on the job longer than those on their time clock, and with 44 hours for people paid by the hour. So, if you're salaried, no matter how much time you work, you get paid the same, which is why you get paid more, so that, there's no excuse for you to not work more. Okay? So, but we are finding ourselves these days where we're actually working harder, longer, and getting less out of it. We are finding ourselves in situations where middle-aged, nearly elderly people who used to make very nice incomes for the times at the time when they were working are now looking to lower income jobs to help them survive, because you know what? They didn't have enough to retire on. It's happening more and more often. People that used to be, managers, CEOs, they used to be this, that, or the other thing. They're finding themselves, selling, shaking fries at McDonald's. So, and people continue to talk about how, okay, I'm not going to take sides on this. I'm trying not to. I'm going to present the arguments that come along. Republicans will tell you that the reason that there's such a gap between what a CEO makes and what a regular employee makes is because the CEO worked harder, got an education, strove, put in his time, and that's why he's making 355 times more than what his employees make. And his employees obviously are not motivated, not intelligent enough, not educated enough, and they don't want to. They're just happy doing what they do. Then you have the liberal, more democratic side telling you that the reason that this inequality exists is because those in power, those with the money, are interested in maintaining the status quo and just, making as much money off the poor and the middle class income folks, and they don't worry about it because they got all the money. I don't know. There's no way for me to tell, who's right here. I do, like a true moderate that I am, though very liberal but not politically correct. I do believe that both sides have their good points and their flaws in the way they view the world. And, the American dream when it came to having a job, was, being able to get a job better than your parents had, being able to do better than your parents did, be able to make more than your parents did. And that is not the reality that we live in this country. The reality we live in this country is that we are working harder and making less. Which brings me to healthcare. Now, this one I am taking aside. I'm a big fan of health insurance. I truly am. I believe everybody should have it. And I do believe that it's the government's responsibility to make sure that its citizens are taken care of. Now, I'm not saying that they need to go out of their way to make sure that everybody has a Bentley and a yacht and a two-story house and a below-ground pool. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I do believe that it is part of the government's responsibility to make sure that its citizens, are afforded, health care, that they are able to, eat. to be able, they're able to maintain a roof above their heads, and and when things get tough, I do believe it's the government's job to help out. I do know that there are many people out there that are within the system that abuse the system, that they'd rather not work, they'd rather not pay for anything, they'd rather just feed on the government tit. And to those people, I say, well, you know what? That's fucking wrong. But when it comes to healthcare, I think that the government should be a lot more proactive in its view of how it handles its citizens. Now, we turn to Obamacare, which has been one of the most divisive issues in the United States for the last, 6-7 years. Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, wherein, it was enacted into law that everybody should have health care, and we're going to offer you health care. We're going to offer you health care through federal and state and county and city plans, and we're gonna do vouchers and trade-offs, and we're gonna make sure that everybody's covered. And if you decide for yourself that you don't feel like getting health care, well, there's going to be a tax on that. Now, quite simply, if you are really, really poor and you decide you don't want to buy health care, you don't think you can afford it, and you get taxed on it, you know what? Your tax is about $100 a year. Way less than what you would pay for health care. So if you want to do that, you go ahead. Nobody's forcing you to get health care. All right? And for those of you who have a lot more money, you already have health care. So don't act like you're suffering in some way. Now, what I think is funny here is that people were talking for the longest time that we're not going to be able to afford all of this. It's going to ruin the industry. It's going to cost hospitals money. It's going to cost doctors money. It's going to cause doctors to stop going to medical school. We're not going to get the best quality people around. And it's just going to cost more all around. And you know what? The truth is, no, that's not true. Okay, is the Affordable Health Care Act, is it a perfect system? No, it's a new system, and they're trying to work through it, and it's going to be shitty for a while. But you know what? That's what happens in every new system. Just like, when you got Windows 1, and you got Windows 2, and you got Windows 3, you know what? Some were better than others. Some actually sucked more than the previous one, and some were just so incredible you decided to bypass the next 2 or 3. But it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. Now, what I find interesting here is, thanks to the Affordable Health Care Act, hospitals have been found that they are actually saving money because less and less people are coming in to emergency rooms without insurance. People are getting themselves insured, and they're going to see their doctors beforehand. They're going to see when something's wrong, they go to their doctor. When something bad happens, they go to their doctor. Or if they go to the emergency room, they have to go to the emergency room, they have insurance to cover it, which is actually saving hospitals and insurance companies money, which in turn should bring down insurance rates. But you listen to some folks, yes, Republicans, I'm talking to you here, you make it sound as if you're all just taking on the cost of everything. You know what? You're taking on the cost of some things, just like Democrats do. Some Democrats make a lot of money. Some Democrats don't make shit. Some Republicans make a lot of money. Some Republicans don't make shit. Okay, believe it or not, there are actually poor Republicans out there, and they still vote for things that actually hinder their quality of life. And we're going to take a break now. This is more Alexa Wilkinson, her song Lullaby Appetite. I'm Joe the Shirt, I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back.
We've had enough fun, let me take you home to your place in the setting sun. I've been thinking of ways to rearrange this little house of strange beings, and you are one of those things we hope for in our lives. Want you so badly to be in mine. I would do most anything to be closer to you all the time. Pick right off where we left. Fill my lullaby.
And Joe the Shark is off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. Oh my God, having so much fun with this. Another one of the tenets that the idea of the United States of America is based on is that everybody is equal. Everybody has just as much say as anybody else. You know, the fact that you're a different color, a different sex, a different religion, a different creed, have a different sexual preference, makes no difference. We're all treated equally. So, why does there still exist a ban on gays donating blood? According to this now, Los Angeles Times here, there's a gentleman from West Hollywood, Ryan James Yazaks, found out that as a gay man, he was banned for life from giving blood under a federal regulation put in place before he was born. The experience prompted Yazak, now 27, to join the growing ranks of those fighting to end the ban instituted in the early days of the AIDS epidemic, when there was fear that HIV-infected blood could enter the nation's medical supply. It applies not just to gay men, but to any man who has had sex at least once with another man since 1997. Now, I understand when the ban first came into place, we didn't understand AIDS at all. Everybody thought of it as a gay disease, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'll be the first one to tell you that it's much easier for a man to give another man AIDS than for a man to give a woman AIDS through vaginal sex. If a man is having anal sex with another man, we're tearing up membranes, where there's exchange of fluids. It's a lot more dangerous because the asshole is not meant to take in a dick. It's just not. Okay? So there's going to be a lot more tearing, a lot more I'm not saying that homosexual sex is wrong. You guys want to fuck each other in the ass? Please go ahead. I'm all for it. But you know what? I would also say that if a man has AIDS and has sex with a woman and fucks her in the ass, then you know what? She's just as much at risk of getting AIDS as a man getting fucked in the ass. It's the same. But vaginal sex does not involve as much of a violent effort. It's not as rough, and it's a lot more lubricated, generally speaking. So the tearing isn't as likely. But like I said, you want to have sex with men? That's great. I love it. Great. Lots of my friends are gay. I'm more than happy for them, and I hope that they, if they don't completely trust somebody, that they make sure everybody's wearing condoms. That's all I'm saying. Now, last year, the American Medical Association voted to oppose the policy, calling it discriminatory and not based on sound science. The three groups that supply nearly all of the nation's blood, the American Red Cross, AABB, and America's Blood Centers, have long advocated ending the ban. So, the American Medical Association and the top three major blood donation centers said it's ridiculous. Gay men should be allowed to donate blood if they want to. We have the test. We have the ways of screening people. We find out somebody has this, that, the other thing, then we just say, hey, you know what? You can't donate blood. You got AIDS. You got syphilis. You got hepatitis. You got this. That's all there is. They have a test for it now, okay? Now, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention said that all the men who have sex with men make up about 2% of the U.S. population. I think that's a little low. New HIV infections account in the U.S. population accounted for 63% of all HIV infections in 2010. That's gay males. As the HIV rate was declining in other populations from 2008 through 2010, there was a 22% increase in diagnoses among gay and bisexual men ages 13 to 24. According to this, HIV from donated blood is low, about 1 case per every 2 million. So the idea that there's going to be some widespread AIDS epidemic is pretty much non-existent. Okay, you're good. You know, you have a 1 in 2 million chance of getting AIDS-infected blood, and you know, it's real tough because once you donate blood, donated blood isn't just given to somebody. You know, donated blood is usually processed. Okay, it's processed so that it maintains its integrity, so that it can be transferred and it can be frozen and it doesn't have to be donated immediately. It can be stored, but that takes a processing. Now, okay, let's say let's say they feel it's reasonable. If you have sex with somebody that may have had AIDS, you can't go around donating blood. But according to the rules, you know, in this federal law here, women or straight men who have had sex with someone with HIV or AIDS can give blood after waiting a year, as can people who have had sex with a prostitute. So you can have sex with somebody if you're a man, you can have sex with a woman who has HIV or AIDS or a prostitute and donate blood. If you're a woman, you can have sex with a man who has AIDS but never had sex with a man. But who knows? Maybe he did have sex with a man, but who has AIDS, HIV, or if you're a woman that had sex with a prostitute, you can donate blood. You know, if you decide to answer the questions honestly, you know, yeah, sure, go ahead. Lifetime bans have been lifted in several countries in the recent years, including Italy and Spain. Last year, Canada decided to allow gay men to donate after 5 years of abstinence. That's still really prejudiced, actually, that Canada one. You know, much kudos to Italy and Spain. But so as a gay man, you can donate blood after you don't get laid for 5 fucking years. Who's going to do that? Actually, I wonder who would answer that honestly. So look at that. It is okay to discriminate against people in the United States. Wow, who would have thought? Got a couple of quick stories here before I get out of here. You guys remember Joe Francis? Yeah, well, if the name doesn't sound familiar, you may remember him from his many videos. Girls Gone Wild, the founder of the Girls Gone Wild video empire, apparently has a $500,000 warrant out for his arrest. The warrant was issued for multiple reasons, including that he is living in another country and has no ties to this community. Francis is facing 7 charges stemming from an alleged altercation in May when he was at Girls Gone Wild headquarters, said Frank Matteljohn, spokesman for the city attorney's office. Francis, 41, was accused of multiple counts of making criminal threats, trespassing, battery, and disobeying a court. Francis filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in February 2013. Joe Francis in trouble again. You remember when this guy was just sitting on top of the world? You know, you'd be up at like 3, 4 in the morning, you know, flipping through channels, and there was the Girls Gone Wild videos, which is basically just a bunch of drunk girls showing off their tits, you know. And like, I didn't think it was that interesting. I watched a couple of the videos, and I was like, there's no fucking. I don't care. Now, another big thing we talk about here in America is the right to bear arms. Now, I'm not going to get into the interpretation that some people have of the Constitution, whether or not it's for personal protection or whether or not it's for the right to form a militia against a oppressive government. I'm not getting into that. I am talking about here about who should really be allowed to have a gun, who should be allowed to hold a gun, use a gun. I don't think everybody should be allowed to have a gun. I don't believe that all rights are inalienable. I don't think that everybody has a basic human right to all things. A classic example for me is I don't think that a woman that murdered 5 of her children by drowning, including an infant and an 8-year-old. Now, drowning an infant's not that tough. Drowning an 8-year-old in your bathtub, that's a lot of fucking work. All right? So she had some serious intent there. And apparently the kid was fighting back. And this is a true story. Happened right here in the good old U.S. of A. And after she drowned them, after she was arrested, after she was sent into the mental hospital, her and her husband, who stayed with her, which is pretty fucking amazing, decided that they wanted to have kids again. No, you can't have any more fucking kids. You drowned the last 5 of them. You can't have any more. No, you're done. We're going to sterilize your ass. Now, the reason I bring this up is because recently there was an accidental death at an Arizona gun range, and the Arizona gun instructor was killed by a girl who he was instructing in how to use a gun. And you know what? My friend Penny, I know, is a bit of a gun nut. I love her dearly. She's one of the smartest conservatives I know. Sorry, Penny, got to dig at you. But she knows a lot about guns, and I know that she is into gun safety, gun instruction, the right to bear arms, and I'm all for, if you're going to have guns and you're going to have kids, you instruct these kids on how the proper use of a gun, the proper safety measures employed when using a gun, But in the case I'm talking about here, the instructor was killed by an Uzi being held by a 9-year-old girl. Now, just off the top of my head, don't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. I don't care if it's male or female. I don't care if it's a boy or girl. Don't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. I don't care how mature the fucking kid is. I don't care how well instructed she's been in. Don't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. There's some people you just don't give an Uzi to. You don't give any firearm to. Okay, you want to train the kid how to use a .22 rifle? Great. You want to train the kid how to use a small caliber handgun? Okay, fine. Go ahead. Make sure it's a little older. But don't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. The fuck is wrong with you? I don't care if you're the parent. I don't care if you're the instructor. You don't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. Fuck is wrong with you? Jesus. And no charges are being brought against the child. Apparently, she fired off a couple of rounds, lost control a little bit. The kickback of it was a lot more than she thought it was going to be. Her shoulder got shoved back, and then the gun just went up and just blew this poor bastard away. And look, I feel bad for the guy. Feel bad for his friends and his family. But he shouldn't give it a 90-year-old an Uzi. You don't do that. Don't give the 9-year-old a fucking Uzi. You want to take your 9-year-olds at the gun range? Fine, great. Grab the .22 rifle. Teach her the basics, okay? Don't give her an Uzi. Going to this place, the place is called Burgers and Bullets, or Bullets and Burgers. This is the name of the gun range. Quote, we instruct kids as young as 5 in .22 rifles. They're under the supervision of their parents and of our professional range masters. Okay. Yeah, Bullets and Burgers. Don't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. But he was stupid because he gave a 9-year-old an Uzi. Her parents are stupid And in a lot of ways, I do think they should be brought up on some sort of charges. Or the gun range should be brought up on charges. Somebody should be sued for this, because this is ridiculous. At no point did somebody think, hey, maybe we shouldn't give a 9-year-old an Uzi. What do you think? I don't know. I'm just thinking, Okay, let's give her the Uzi, but maybe not the armor-piercing rounds. Okay, let's give her the Uzi and the armor-piercing rounds, but let's not give her the extended clip. Okay, let's give her the Uzi, the armor-piercing rounds, the extended clip. Where does it end? And that is actually it for me today. Thank you for listening so much. Our last song for the day is by Alexa Wilkinson. It's called Good Fight. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I've been off the cuff. Thank you.